this would be a lot easier if you'd seen my videos.
I was going to say.
You're so horrible. Please keep that on your own channel.
What, consent?
How do we compare to our offline persona? Why isn't Elizabeth your personal assistant anymore? Oh, what's the most annoying thing about each other? Shut up. I hate you. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special guest finally here. Here's my...
I'm finally here.
Yes, you're finally here.
Right, yes.
Yes, here we have...
I'm finally here.
Yeah, exactly. Here we have my manager, the reason I started this YouTube channel, the biggest productivity YouTuber on the internet. Welcome, Ali. How do you feel?
I wouldn't say I'm the biggest productivity YouTuber on the internet.
The biggest productivity YouTuber I personally know. Actually, that's a lie too. I'm sorry. One of the biggest productivity YouTubers out there.
Thank you.
Welcome to the channel. How do you feel?
I feel good.
I feel good.
I feel optimistic. It's a good day.
Okay, great. First question. So today we're going to be asking questions to each other, I guess, and we've collected these questions, so let's see how it goes. The first one is...
Where do these questions come from?
These questions came from your Instagram stories.
Okay, so questions that people sent in.
Yes.
Not questions that we've decided.
No, the questions that people sent in. Thank you for clarifying. Okay, let's get started. Why isn't Elizabeth your personal assistant anymore?
Why isn't Elizabeth my personal assistant anymore? Well, do you want the... you want the good reason or the real reason?
Am I editing this video? Who's editing this video? I'll be editing this video.
I mean, it's your channel, right?
Okay, I'll edit this video. Fine, you can say both. I'll source it out.
Well, the good reason is that Elizabeth was taking on more and more roles and responsibilities within the business as a whole, and ended up, given that you were kind of, time was limited because you were a medical student at the time before you decided to spontaneously quit the other day.
Take a gap.
Given that your time was limited, it made more sense for you to be in other roles where you were adding more value than in the role where you were adding value as a personal assistant.
Okay, and the real reason? So this was not the real. This is not real.
The real reason is that
very good.
I feel that a lot of the personal assistant stuff was sort of falling by the wayside.
Okay.
And other stuff was taking priority over that. And the way you were approaching the personal assistant stuff was, oh, it's great. It's great to have these 2 hours in between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm super tired, but it's fine because I can just answer emails. And it wasn't really the vibe I was looking for in a personal assistant, given that my whole life was like falling downhill. And I was thinking at the time, I also want to delegate my personal inbox to you, but the fact that you were drowning in just the business inbox along with everything else meant that I didn't feel comfortable doing that. The thing I did badly about this is that I should have fed this back to you, like, way earlier. Rather than it being a surprise when we had our quarterly review or whatever that was. So that was my fault. Yeah.
Okay, fair.
And so that's why now when it comes to kind of dealing with team members and stuff, I'm very keen on, if we don't like something about the way someone is doing something, we have to tell them and then give them a chance to improve at the thing before making any rash decisions.
Okay, perfect. So on the back of that, will you always work with each other?
I would always like to work with you. I feel like you are going to outgrow me at some point and you will leave the business and do your own thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it would make perfect sense for that to be the case. For you, or from your end.
Interesting. Okay.
What do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think initially I never thought that I would leave just because like things are really fun and they're great. So I don't think I would leave of my own accord. I think there's always going to be things that happen within your business that I wouldn't do on my own, but that I love to do, if that makes sense. So...
What do you mean?
Like the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. I don't think I'd start a Part-Time YouTuber Academy, but I love the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. So I think, therefore, I would still work with it. I think the only reason I would leave is if you're too mean.
If I'm too mean?
Yes, okay. Which is then close to the reason.
I will endeavour to be less mean.
Yeah, that's the only reason I would leave. Okay. What's the most annoying thing about each other?
You first.
Your choice in music.
Okay. What's wrong with my choice of music?
It's generally okay. I mean, some of your music I'm on board with. It's just recently you've been listening to Driver's License on repeat forever, and I really just like that song. And yeah. What's the most annoying thing about me? So you already have something in mind?
I think we'll pass on that one.
What? What? No. Come on. I answered everything for your video.
What's the most annoying thing about you?
Go on, take your time. You laughed, so you can just say the thing you laughed at.
Okay, I've got it. The most annoying thing is how fast you're growing on YouTube. I feel threatened.
Oh, that's such a cop-out. That is such a cop-out. What is your take on toxic productivity?
I feel like you made a video about this.
Did I?
So you have a take about this, right?
I probably have a take about this. What's your take on this?
My take on toxic... It depends how we define toxic productivity. What do people mean when they say toxic productivity?
You want me to define it?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people bandy the term about, but I've never... Like, my take on it depends on how it's defined.
I know, I agree with that too. I think then this is the case that we'll be speaking about what others think, which is, I'm not sure that we can do that comfortably. But I think in the general sense of productivity for productivity's sake, just working all the time, not respecting yourself and doing less about your personal life and just doing more of everything.
I feel like this is a caricature that most people don't actually fall into. Like, I don't know I know a lot of people who like productivity and stuff, but I don't know anyone who... I think this is a very easy... It's a very easy, like, straw man caricature to argue against.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't really like the phrase toxic productivity. Having said that, I get that, like, certainly for me, speaking for myself, I often feel guilty when I'm not doing something productive, and maybe people will call that toxic productivity, but in that case, fair enough. It's something I'm working on.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I made a video calling you out on this. That wasn't the video, but I have a video where you're in the thumbnail, which you didn't comment on, by the way. So I think this is one of the things that I struggled with starting YouTube in the beginning, the toxic productivity thing, because I don't really understand what's the right thing to do, if that makes sense. Because in one way on the internet, we say that we value honesty and openness, and we want to see what people are really doing and what their lives really, really look like. And I'm certain that there are certain people who study 10 hours a day, right? But if you do then a 10-hour study with me, people will get angry and say you're promoting the wrong thing. So then does that mean that we don't want those people to show certain aspects of their life because it's bad, but we want them to be honest and open about what they're doing? So that part I just can't make sense of in my head in one way. And I think that's one thing that I have issues with when it comes to toxic productivity in itself. But yeah, it's slightly confusing for me. I'd say, like you said, deep down, I don't think anyone would really disagree in that some work is good. Rest time is very, very great. We need to have a balanced and happy life, but that looks like different things for different people, if that makes sense. But you can preface every single productivity video with, oh, but it's very important to have time for rest and all of these things, which is true, everyone agrees with, but that wouldn't be it would be a waste of time, be unproductive to do it. So.
Yeah, I feel like it's important to take care of yourself and, like, not burn out and stuff. Like, it feels so obvious that it doesn't need to be caveated at the start of every single video, but clearly, I guess if people have issues with that, then maybe it needs to be more caveated. I don't know.
Makes sense. Okay, how does Ali react when he's angry? How do you think you react when you're angry?
I don't think I get angry.
Yeah, you don't really get angry, do you? No. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you angry.
I send strongly worded Slack messages to people when I'm angry.
Do you? Oh, okay, I've never experienced this. I've never seen you angry. Yeah. Okay. How do you not let online trolls or others' judgments get to you?
I let them get to me. I cry in my bed before going to sleep.
That's a flat out lie. That's such a lie.
No, genuinely.
Why are you lying? When was the last time you cried?
When was the last time I cried? A few days ago.
Really?
What was it? Was it Tuesday? Tuesday, yeah.
Why did you cry
When was
Tuesday?
2 days ago. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay. Was it because
Or
of
maybe
online
not.
trolls?
No.
Okay, when was the last time you cried because of online trolls?
Probably a few months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
What? You didn't tell me this.
I mean, I'm sorry if I don't share the details of my...
I didn't realise. I'm not his therapist. I didn't realise. Oh, okay, wow.
It's great how we have so many people behind the camera who feel like they want to be on camera.
We should do a group video at some point. Okay, so how do you manage with it? You just cry?
I cry, yeah. I ignore it for the most part. I cry if it really hits home, and yeah, that's it.
Oh, wow.
How do you manage it?
Exactly the same way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not realise we had this in common. What? Yeah, I cry.
Yeah, nice.
How do you stay motivated to publish content and do so many other things outside of work?
I mean, this is my work now. So I feel like this question is more aimed at you.
You do other things.
What do I do?
Project Meteor Academy is like a huge thing that you do.
It's part of the business.
You're still a doctor.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you stay motivated to do videos outside of work?
It's just really fun.
Okay.
Yeah, genuinely. It's just fun, mate. Well, when you're having fun, productivity takes care of itself.
Interesting. Okay. I don't believe in motivation. I just do things anyway, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't stay motivated. I'm usually not motivated at all. I'm quite passionate, but I'm not motivated. I think there's a huge difference between those two. So
Passionate but not motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you like the idea of doing things, but you don't like doing things.
I like the.
Okay.
I think.
I'm passionate about climate change, but not motivated enough to actually do something about it. Would that be fair to say for you? Or
well, let's not use climate change as an example if we get me cancelled. But
I'm passionate about making YouTube videos, but not motivated enough to actually do it.
I don't know if I never pay attention to motivation, let's say that. So perhaps I am motivated, but I never use it as a measure of should I do something now, should I do something later, or so it might be there in the background, I just never pay attention to it. I think on motivation, I've been motivated to do things because of negative reasons. So like I don't have money, therefore I'm motivated to have all these jobs to get money to pay rent, if that makes sense. So I tie motivation to negative things in general. I think that's just my personal experience. But passion usually comes from fun. And when I have things like YouTube, which I want to do because I'm passionate about, that's different. That makes sense.
Cool.
Okay. Why do you always look the same? I think this was a question for me.
Why do you always look? Yeah, it's probably a question for you.
For me. Yeah, I mean, I just wear black all the time. And...
video up there about you've been wearing black for 7 years.
Yeah, thank you for the plug. So,
good, isn't it?
Yeah. Are we related?
Are we related?
Yes.
I don't think so.
We're definitely not. We got asked this question.
Wow, thanks.
We got asked this question in, I think it was when I posted the video that had both of us in the thumbnail, where people were like, oh my god, they look so similar. I was like, do we? Do we look similar? Yeah, okay.
On a side note, there was this girl that I dated in like final year of med school, where in the photos, a lot of people said that we looked identical. I'm not sure which of us that was a par on, but
I can tell you right now. Interesting.
You know when you're driving a car and you have like backseat drivers?
Yes.
It's like it's like 10 times more annoying when you have kind of back of camera people like ruining the recording with their commentary. Thank you.
Okay. Why did you want to be a doctor?
A doctor? Mm-hmm. Oh, because 6 years at medical school 6 years at university is more fun than 3 years at university, and because it felt like it would be a cool non-desk job. Turns out there actually is quite a lot of desk job into it. Mm-hmm. And I thought that being a doctor who codes is more interesting than being a dude who codes.
Wow.
And I like science and I like helping people and I believe in communication skills and I have lots of empathy and all that kind of stuff. What about you?
I was going to ask, why didn't you do a PhD? You could have done like any degree, a master's and a PhD, and stayed at university forever, if that was your goal.
Life's too short to do a PhD.
Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Okay, so why did I want to be a doctor? I think for the second reason that you mentioned, in that I like helping people and I love science, so it kind of made sense. It seems like the job that you do, if you do well in school and you like communicating, I guess, and like helping people, it just seems like the default option. So I guess that's why I went into medicine initially. But yeah,
cool.
Nothing too exotic. Do you ever have self-doubt in your life?
When it comes to writing the book, yeah. Beyond when it comes to like relationships to an extent, when it comes to being a good friend, yes. Yeah, those 3 areas.
Interesting.
What about you?
Yes, I do. I try to get over it, and I think I get over it quickly, but I definitely have a lot of it, if that makes sense. So it's kind of a process that I have to go through continuously throughout my day, multiple times, if that makes sense.
Okay. How do you get through that process?
I think you've helped with this a lot, in the sense
really?
of yeah.
Wow.
I
thought I was like so mean to you in all the ways, all the ways.
And you teach me a lot of things indirectly, so yeah.
Okay.
I think realizing that it's not that deep in the best sort of way, that you just need to put things out there before you're ready, and that nobody really cares, and that we hold ourselves to much higher standards than most people hold us to, and I think starting there and putting content out, I think helped a lot. So I actually think this YouTube channel has helped more than anything, because I've definitely changed so much. I've become so much more thick-skinned, and that has, I think, reflected in many different aspects of my life. So it definitely helps a lot. I think YouTube is a great way to get rid of self-doubt.
Nice. We should add that to our part-time YouTuber Academy. Reasons to start YouTube.
Yes. What's the most annoying thing about each other? Most irritating habit?
I think your most irritating habit is just like how warm and enthusiastic you are. It makes me feel very inadequate about my own kind of energy that I bring to interactions.
Why are you giving these sort of responses? Now you make me feel bad. I'm so honest with these questions.
You can say what you like.
Oh, Ali. My most annoying habit about you is your lack of habits with email responses or like message responses in general. I wish you had like message responses.
What a personal assistant is supposed to be for.
Message responses. I feel like you had more of a habit in place in terms of answering those in a reasonable time. Would be nice.
Fair play. I mean, my theory on this is that if anything is genuinely urgent, you can call me, and if not, then I will get to it when I see it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay. Thank you for making me feel terrible.
No, that's quite right.
Do you ever find yourselves in competition with each other?
Do you find yourself in competition with me?
No, there's no competition there, mate. You've won. Like, no, I don't think. I don't think I've
myself in competition. I've just never once thought of any kind of competition where we're both competing in.
Yeah.
I think even if we were kind of YouTubers in the same space, of the same size, doing the same topics, it's still it's not a competition. It's like the nice thing about YouTube is that the rising tide lifts all the boats. And so if I do a video about like sleep, and Thomas Frank does a video about sleep, like we publish the videos like independently of one another, but what we find is that they both do better because like one gets suggested on the other one gets suggested on the other. It's great. Like it's not a competition. It's not like it's not like competing for views or competing for accolades against someone else. Yeah.
That's quite interesting that you mentioned the sleep video. So I've had this video in my Notion, like scripted ready to sleep, about sleep. And when I found out about your video about sleep, I didn't do it because I was like, I think we often get to that position where we independently do things and they're exactly the same. And then it depends on who got there first. Because I don't think you don't care about this because your channel is so much bigger. But for me, it's like, if I just put this video out exactly after Ali did it, everyone's going to think that, oh, she just copied Ali.
Okay, so you're concerned about what people will think.
Oh, yes I am.
Okay, fair enough.
I shouldn't be. Okay, maybe I'll post the video. How do we compare to our offline persona? This would be a lot easier if you'd seen my videos.
I was going to say.
You're so horrible. You're so horrible.
I watched some of your videos. I watched your medical school one at double speed. I think, yeah, offline you don't speak at double speed. Offline you speak at like 1.5x, but like on YouTube you speak at like 3x because I double it.
Oh, I meant like, okay, don't say that because people always ask me, do you speak this fast in real life or are you just putting it on for YouTube?
The other day I think it was like a whiteboard brainstorm session that we had, where almost every point that you made I was like, whoa, slow down.
Oh yeah, I speak very fast in real life. Okay, so how do I compare with my online persona?
Yeah, like I said, half the speed.
That's because you put a speed controller on.
Oh, yeah.
How is that relevant?
I think you're more produced online and you're less authentic online.
How so?
I think it's illustrated in this Q&A that we filmed where the bits that are truly authentic, that to me feel like these are the best bits, you're saying, oh no, we can't possibly put that on the internet, that's too honest. And so I think your online persona is more filtered to the persona you want to create, which all of us are to an extent.
Okay.
This is something that I actively try. I actively make an effort to make my real life persona as identical to my online persona as possible, just without the swearing and without the just without swearing.
Interesting. I do try to filter out things that are fluff from. That's what I remove the most. I guess that's where the personality is then. I'm not sure. But I just felt like the things that we talked about were like, no one cares about those things. We'll just remove that part.
I think you have too much of a filter of no one cares about X, and then you end up the content. Like I think you're more. There's more depth to you in real life than that comes across in the videos. Probably because you cut out a lot of things and you have this filter for things that you feel like you can't say on the internet. Whereas it tends to be those things that we wouldn't say in public that tend to be the more deeper parts of our personality, right?
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I'll think about that later. Do I answer this about you? How do you compare to your offline persona? You know how you say you're like 30% like amped up on YouTube? I think that's true. So I think in reality you're a lot more mellow and a lot more serious.
A lot more
We
serious.
were talking about this yesterday, how like your face, like your resting face is so mean in real life.
Like I have a resting bored face. I have a real problem with like resting bitch face where like
It's really bad.
when I'm listening to someone it looks like this.
And that's how Ali looks like 99% of the time in real life. Well, I feel like on YouTube you're always so smiley. So I think
Because on YouTube I'm doing the talking. This is why like in videos like this one where I'm actually listening a lot of the time, I've now started to think, oh crap, what does my face look like? Because when I'm talking I can be animated because I'm talking, but
I think this is a problem. This is why in your Q&As you often get comments of like, Ali looks so annoyed right now. I'm like, no, this is what Ali looks like when he talks to me all the time in real life. It's just on YouTube.
Resting bitch face is very unfortunate.
Yes.
I wish there was something I could do about it.
I think that's the biggest difference.
I'm working on it. You know, you apparently need to lift the...
Oh, God. Okay, yeah, I think that's the biggest difference between your online and offline persona. And offline, you look a lot more bored with people.
Yeah, if I don't blink, I feel like I blink too often. Never mind. Let's continue.
Does it annoy me when you stick a camera in my face? It's only happened on 2 or 3 occasions, I think. I think it's a bit weird. I think I had an issue with this even when you were like vlogging with other people, wherein you don't take any consent for like vlogging someone, if that makes sense. Like you won't ask them, is this okay? Or going to start filming now? Is this, you will start filming and you'll stick it in your vlog and you won't ask anyone to like review it or check it in any way. And I feel like it's a bit intrusive, if I'm honest.
Okay. I feel like generally it's pretty obvious when I'm filming, and the people who I film generally I know are okay with it because we've discussed it at some point in the past, and I know that they're comfortable enough around me to be like, okay, Ali, can we not include this bit? Which is fine. It won't go in the edit.
Angus was just rolling his eyes. This is not true. Okay, no, I'm sure it's true.
I'm a strong believer in consent, for the record.
Oh my god. Please keep that on your own channel.
What, consent?
No, those comments. This is the overproduced space, remember? Is there something that you've tried to get Ali to do that he's refused? You answer it first.
I don't think so.
Your wife email.
My wife email?
Your wife email inbox thing.
What about it?
Telling you to like clarify it more or shut it down.
Clarify it more or shut it down?
Yes.
What, so you want me to make a video being like, addressing the marriage... That's actually a good
that's a good
video
idea, isn't it?
Addressing my marriage inbox.
Mate, that's such a good idea. No, but like in general, there were points when I was like, you need to sort this out because it's not okay.
I feel like in that context, there's this great meme of Greta Thunberg.
Okay.
Which is where the caption is, our job is to demand solutions and not to provide them. And so in this context, you were like, yeah, I feel like you were demanding a solution of, Ali, we need to sort this problem out. Okay. And not actually providing a solution.
So finding you a wife so you can shut the email down. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that would be one way. Or actually sort of like, what does it mean to shut down an email address? Like, I don't know, create an autoresponder or something? I suppose that could work. But
just handling it a bit better, maybe. Okay. I think that's one thing I've tried to get you to do.
Handling it a bit better. Mm-hmm. What would that involve?
Just, not just dropping the email, like wife email thing everywhere. Or just, I don't know. I spoke about it in the other video. You can refer to that as your answer.
Which other video?
The one we just shot before this.
Do people know this?
Yes. So we shot another video. We shot another video on your channel.
You can do what you like, but like...
We shot another video on this.
I feel like I'm trying to send traffic your way. I'd appreciate the favour being returned.
Okay, wow. Okay, so yes, we have a previous video where I go into depth about all my issues with Ali's marriage email inbox. And yeah, you can watch it there if you're interested. If Ali cut your pay in half, would you leave? I feel like in the beginning, no. For my personal assistant job, I wouldn't leave. I feel like that was so much fun. I'm planning this video on like the ranking my first 10 jobs. And I think my personal assistant came like as top before everything. Oh, that's a spoiler. But yeah, I came above everything else. And I think the reason for that is it was just so much fun. And I learned so much. And I feel like I had the biggest sort of like informational growth in my life from any other job that I've had before. So I think even if you were not to pay me at all, I'd be like, this is worth it just for the value that I'm getting. So that job, definitely no. This job now, parts of it, I wouldn't leave if you cut my pay in half. Parts of it, I'd be like, yeah, you're definitely hiring someone else to do this, if that makes sense.
What strategy for the YouTuber Academy?
Yeah.
Which are the bits that you feel that you would leave if your pay were cut in half?
Do I have to answer right now? I need to check my task list, my stones. I need to see the stones first. I think I'll get back to you. Do we wrap it up?
It's your channel.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
yeah. Do you have anything else? Do you have anything that you want to say?
You're taking the lead.
Do you have anything you want to say?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Wow, that's the first time it's been said here. We don't accept that sort of behaviour on this channel. Yes.
Okay, fine. We'll cut that out.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything that you want to say in the end?
No. Thank you for having me on. It's been a real honour. It's always nice when doing collabs with fellow YouTubers.
Okay.
And I feel honoured that you would invite me over to your studio to film this video.
You're very welcome for joining. Thank you. Thanks everyone. And you can check out the previous video on Ali's channel if you'd like to hear more about us working together. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Be kind to yourself and others and don't believe everything you think. Thanks. Bye. Shut up. I hate you. That's too long of an outro. That's too long of an outro. How many hours a week does she work for you?
Oh, these days, like 4 from what I gather.
What?
Okay. How many hours do you work for me?
You tell me, how many hours do you think I work for you?
I don't know. Like, I don't look at your hour tracking thing.
Really?
I don't know if you track your hours.
I do track my hours.
Okay. How many hours do you work? You've got that data.
Yeah, it depends on the week. It depends on the week. I think at the moment we're around 50 to 60.
Okay.
Which is like what?
Why?
Is that too much or too little? It's been a lot more.
That's why you're capped at 40 hours a week.
We should say this on the internet, should we? Fuck. You can't be honest about this. Let's skip this question.
Sure.
I'm not capped at 40 hours. Well, on the
You're not?
contract, but
Huh?
who's going to do the stuff? Who's going to do the things then?
What things?
That need to be done.
Okay.
If I just like close my laptop at 40 hours, I'll be like, yep, I'm done.
Well, no, you bring it up with Angus and be like, hey, you know, I have too much workload and not enough capacity.
So it's Angus's fault.
Well,
How many
no.
hours does Angus work a week?
That's kind of irrelevant.
Oh, really?
Angus is also having a problem, which is why I brought it up with him, asking Angus to track his time and figure out what bits we can delegate. But
Yeah, but how do we sort it then? If Angus is working 80 hours a week, I can't just suddenly be like, yeah, take on my workload too, because I'm
Okay.
done with 40.
are there ways of solving the workload issue other than Angus, you have to do this yourself?
Hiring other people, which we're trying to do but not doing. But
Okay, why are we not doing that?
it's where we need to do it.
Okay, but why are we not? I mean,
We are currently identifying who to hire.
yeah, we still haven't identified who to hire, and we still have. It's just so much harder than it should be. Basically.
no, I mean, fair enough.
But yeah, not 40 hours a week.
But like my point is that there is always a reason as to why people are working too much, and there is always a solution to that problem. And I think we all generally, and this is something that I need to do as well, need to be more proactive in recognizing when we're working more than 40 hours or working beyond capacity and actively finding ways to solve that problem.
You know what the issue is? Like, if someone's has a 60-hour-a-week job, like thing, for you to be like, oh, you need to hire someone else for this role. It
I'm
makes
not saying
sense.
you need to hire someone else for the role. I'm saying there are solutions to the problem. Hiring is one of them.
I agree. But I would just say, since we're on this topic, because this is not going to go in the video, but like, since we're on this topic,
Why is it not going to go in the
this
video?
can't go in the video.
This is honest,
This
authentic.
can't go in the video.
There's content.
The point is, like, it's very difficult to tell someone who's working for 60 hours a week. On top of that, now you need to spend an extra work day to like write out a proper job description, identify these things and do these things,
Sure.
and do the hiring process and send out the things, which Dan has been helping with. But it feels like ideally someone else would do the hiring. Like, there needs to be a hiring person. Like, interviewing people, going through their stuff takes a lot of time. On top of my 60 hours, I'm just like, oh fuck it, I'll just do the 60 hours and go to sleep rather than. Does that make sense?
Okay. So with
It's like adding another job.
So the
on
thing
top
we've
of what I'm
identified is that you are unable to hire on top of your job.
Yes.
And have you ever asked for someone else to give you help with that hiring thing?
Dan is helping a lot, but
Okay.
still the interviews and stuff need to be done and
Okay.
things.
Do they need to be done by you?
Ideally not. Yes, but if anyone could do it, I'm just saying, it's the point where like, if I want to solve the problem, I need to do so much more work. And I'm like, I can't, I'm done for the week. And it just goes on, if that makes sense.
Okay. So, I mean, the thing here is that you identify there's a problem and that
Yes.
you're working too much.
Yes.
You figure out a solution to the problem,
Which is hiring someone.
which is hiring someone. You realize you don't have the capacity to hire someone yourself.
Yes.
The next thing is, okay, who can I ask to help me with this?
Yes, Dan, which I passed.
Okay.
And now we
and
get tasked to do interviews.
if the problem still isn't solved, we figure out like, okay,
Okay.
well, you know, it's a leads to B leads to C kind of chain of events.
Yeah.
Right,
In
the
theory.
The issue here is that the person doing the A leads to C,
Yeah.
A leads to B leads to C, right, needs to have the time to do that. Even the process of like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the
Yeah,
next step?
which is ideally something that you would discuss with your manager. Be like, hey, I have a problem in that I'm working too much and there's too much to do. And then the manager would be like, oh, well, what are the solutions to that problem?
The issue is
One of which would be
you're
hiring.
too far down the rabbit hole. You're already at the point where you're having to work 60 odd hours a week, which at that point is too late. Ideally, you would have identified the fact that you're overworked, or I'm not saying this is anybody's fault. You know, you would have identified the issue before you got to that point, and then you would have the time to get involved in figuring out the solution to that before it became too much.
Yeah.
We already know this part isn't going in the video.
I think you should go to the video.
Mate, like,
This is good content.
it's so long. It's like a full,
No,
it's a
that's
full,
not just a-
okay.
You can decide. It's your channel.
Okay, maybe
If
towards
it
maybe
were
the last
if it
video.
were my channel, I would put it in.
Really, you can have it if you like.
Wrap it up.